joining us live. And we're going to let Ashley get us started, and then we're just going to get into our flow. And towards the end, I'm not sure exactly what point, we will get into the transmission, and I will lock it so that nobody else can join us, so there's no interruption.
Yes, so exciting. So welcome to Reset and Reclaim the Experience. We're super excited to share this with you, and then also share what's coming, and we have a few things that we want to be talking about on this, just so you can understand the importance of resetting and reclaiming your energies and what 0 point is, and like Johanna said, the importance of that foundation. So we're going to start by talking about why is it important to reset and how you can tell if you are not reset and taking in all these other energies from other people, and what the importance of that is. So did you want to hop into that, Johanna, about the importance of it?
Sure. We have an issue, though. Nobody can hear us.
Nobody can hear us. Okay. Nobody can hear us or me or...
Both of us. Nobody can hear us.
Okay, let me see. I can hear you. Who can't hear us?
Okay. All right.
So I would check your...
I have a few people that are in the chat that are saying they can't hear.
Okay. Jennifer, Michelle, and Natasha, it looks like you guys aren't connected to any audio. So if you guys aren't hearing anything, maybe it's that you need to connect to audio. Possibly. Okay, most people can hear us, so I would exit and enter again and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to keep going. So the whole purpose of resetting our system is the right now especially. So we have these energies that are coming in that are allowing things to rise up within us. So our DNA, our blood, our tissues, our bones, the waters, all of those things that are running through our physical body hold memory. They hold every detail, every emotion that you have felt, everything you've ever thought, everything that you've ever experienced. And we're talking about not just this particular lifetime, we're talking about all lifetimes, because they're happening simultaneously. And so this is where the word karma comes from. Karma is just a memory of another place and time, of an emotion, something that will trigger us. So that's why a lot of times sometimes we'll get triggered with something and we don't understand where it came from, or it may not have come from this lifetime. It may have come from another lifetime where you had a traumatic death or a traumatic experience or a traumatic heartbreak. And that imprints this karmic memory that lives within ourselves. So when we're born, we come in with these things in our system already, but we come in a very neutral place. Our divine 12-point blueprint is set to exactly the way it's supposed to be, in full, heart wide open, universal love, knowing everything, feeling everything, and just being that pure divine essence that you are. And you're neutral, right? We're not in anger, we're not in excitement, we're just in that beautiful state of neutrality where we're open. And that's what I love about neutrality, is it means all the doors are open. We are not attached or holding on to one thing or another. We're not closing any doors on anyone or anything. And we need to come back to that space so that we can understand our energy. It isn't about anybody else. It isn't about our past lives. It isn't about our future lives. It's about right now. And it's about understanding how we feel in our 0 point, in our state of neutrality, when we are in our space of Zen, how our body feels. And this is going to be different for everybody. How I feel in neutrality is not the same as how Ashley will feel in neutrality. And so this is the point of why resetting is important, because you cannot start to rebuild a house on old, cracked foundation that isn't stable, right? We need to break that down, burn it away, clear the soil, and then begin. That is the neutral state, to begin to pull in the tools and the pieces, the foundations that will be our foundation within us, right? So we're not trying to anchor into someone else's house or someone else's boat, or however you want to see it, to create that stability. We're finding that stability underneath our feet from within our own body. But before we can even get to that point, we have to reset it back to neutrality.
Mm-hmm. And we're not even trying to compare with other people's foundations or houses, because you're creating something special from your own point of view and from your own original design. And your house is going to look different than other people's houses. So even as we're creating the foundation, that foundation is going to be different than other people's foundation. And if you are picking up and pulling in and have these cords or codependency patterns with other people, you're essentially building a house for two, or for the other person, or for your whole family. And everybody deserves and can have their own foundation, because if ever we're wanting to manifest from this space, it has to be from our 0 point, from our neutrality, because that's what's going to allow us to manifest what's in the highest and best for ourselves. Because we all come from the same source, and we are all God, but we have our own filters, and those filters are what we're used to create on this plane, right? And so you have your original design. It's almost like understanding your original design, understanding your original blueprint, your reset point is what's going to allow you to manifest and create from the highest possibility and potential for your soul, for what you came here to do, instead of mucking it up with everybody else's stuff and trying to build something based on someone else's needs or wants or desires, or trying to manifest something to save somebody else, right? We're not doing anybody any good trying to build a home for them. They're just going to burn that crap down, right? And then you're going to build again, then they'll burn it down. So we're going to touch on codependency and why it doesn't serve people, and talk about boundaries, and talk about emotions, and talk about thoughts, because we have to attain that neutrality in all these different areas. We are a multifaceted being, and the more neutrality we can attain in these different areas, the more aligned we can be with our divine purpose, and the easier life gets for us, instead of being triggered left and right, and just our life is not going to be as smooth as it can be.
Do you want to go and get us started with what we with boundaries? Because we've reset. So once you've reset your system, once you come into that neutral point and you understand how your energy is, and what I mean by this is, I mean when you are not with anybody else, when you are all by yourself, when you are alone, what do you feel like? What do you feel like, uninterrupted, without any other energies interfering? So once you understand, we had Kali Ma just enter. Kali Ma's in the house. Once we understand what our 0 point is, what our natural point is, that's when we can be able to understand if somebody's breaching our boundaries. So that's a deeper purpose of the 0 point, because if you don't know what you feel like by yourself, you're sure as hell not going to be able to discern if somebody's breaching your boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, actually, before we start, I'm trying to mess around with this thing with pinning the video. If I pin both me and Johanna's video, can you see both of us simultaneously, or is it just speaker view and you can just see who's talking? Just wanted to double check.
Do you have us both pinned?
I do. I have us both pinned.
Okay.
Or I do now. I guess I canceled it. I don't know. We're trying to figure out the Zoom thing so we can make it as efficient as possible. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to unpin everybody.
Crystal says, I see you both.
Oh. When it's pinned? Okay. Well, I'll just do that then. Okay. Anyways, so moving into... we're going to talk about boundaries, but I also wanted to talk about the energy that we have supporting us right now, in the now. If you guys are familiar with I Ching or If you're familiar with I Ching, or if you're familiar with gene keys or human design or any of those things that are built on the I Ching, right now we're in hexagram 60. And in gene keys, that's the shadow of limitation, the gift of realism, and the city of justice. And so with this one, this has a lot to do with your boundaries, has a lot to do with where you're leaking energy. And so it's important for us to understand our own boundaries, and if we're too rigid, we're not letting anything in, right? And if we are too loose, everything is getting in. And in order for the flow of your divinity, the flow of your essence, to be able to get to A to B efficiently, or to even go through you efficiently, you need to have your boundaries set in a way that is sustaining, in a way that is mutually beneficially as you're interacting on this earthly plane. And you're needing to understand how structured you need it to be without it being rigid, like being semi-permeable. And if you can use the analogy of the river needs the banks to flow. If you're not having the banks, then the water's getting everywhere. It's flooding everywhere. It's overflowing everywhere. And there's not a lot of potency or movement or momentum behind that. So you're needing to have those banks and have those boundaries, because the purpose is to direct and guide your flow so that it is moving in the best way possible, if you're using that river analogy. So that's what the 60th gene key is talking about, and what we're moving into, and allowing you guys to get a taste of this reset and reclaim, so you can understand how can you get your river flowing efficiently. And we're going to start by talking about boundaries and the importance of boundaries. And I know in the beginning, when we're going through the spiritual journey or spiritual awakening, we have our empathy is ramped up, and we're feeling everything, right? And we're probably feeling tons of stuff. And in the beginning, we're like, I don't want to feel anything. I want to shut it down. I want to shut it off. And you start to create these boundaries because you think that you need to protect yourself against everything else. And that is not serving you or anyone, because the moment you start shutting yourself off, shutting your heart off, you're not able to feel into yourself, you're not able to connect to your source, and you're not able to connect to anybody else. It's almost like, let's just numb everything. And it's not serving anyone doing that. And I know that that's usually what the case is for a lot of people in the beginning, because we don't know any better. We don't know the importance of boundaries. And once we realize that I'm you and you're me, I know that some of us end up stripping all the boundaries away. And we're like, well, why do I need to protect myself against myself, right? Why do I even need these boundaries? So it's either you're too rigid in your boundaries, or you're too unstructured in your boundaries, and you're just letting everything in. And that starts diluting your own waters. We have our own essence, right? And the moment we let everybody else jump in our pool, we have no sovereignty. There is no boundaries. It's if you want to go back to being one with all that is and connecting to everything, then we can go back to source and just be like that. But we chose to be in this body for a reason, to have relationships and to understand separation in a healthy way, not an unhealthy way. Because there is some degree of separation because we're in bodies. We haven't transcended these yet. So boundaries are very important. What do you have to say about boundaries, Johanna?
I feel like, I went through exactly what you were just sharing with them. When my senses activated, if you will, I went from being that shut down, numb person to everything was busted wide open. And I went from someone who could go out in public and not have anxiety and not feel anything to I was feeling everything. Like literally, I felt every worry, every fear that anyone was having. I would go out in public and I would feel like the walls were closing in on me because there was so much energy coming at me. And I didn't know what was happening. I had no idea. And so what I did what most people do is I Google searched it and was like, oh my God, I have to put this bubble around me and I have to protect my energy and I have to, create these crazy rituals to keep all these energies out. And after going through my healing journey and really opening my heart and having my gifts unfold even further, I was able to connect and to source and really understand the truth behind this. And is that we need boundaries, not barriers. We need something that is malleable. So think of like an energetic fence, right? It allows us to know where our energy ends and someone else's begins. Because you, in the moment, think about when you're triggered, right? And someone is really angry, and all of a sudden you were fine, and all of a sudden you pull that anger in and you explode, and you're like, why am I so upset? Why is this happening? Well, you had no boundaries. You did not discern between, this is not mine. You didn't separate the emotion and the energy, saying, oh, this isn't mine. I can feel it coming, but this isn't mine. I don't want that. And that's when we become the observer, when we can separate that and feel it coming, because it's not about not accepting that emotion in. That emotion is already a part of us, right? Somebody's just pushing that button. But we want it to move through us. When I've channeled Metatron on this, because he likes to work with children, and it's one of the coolest things ever to teach a kid early on how to keep their heart open. And so he always says, be the cloud. And I'm sure you guys have heard me say this before. And it's where you allow the energy to move through you. You're not attaching and holding on to it, because you know it's not yours. It's not about you. So you're able to discern that energetic fencing. Your boundaries allows you to go, oh, this isn't my emotion. This isn't mine to hold on to. This isn't mine to worry. Not only that, but boundaries tell us and show us, or show other people, I should say, how to treat us, right? So again, do you lay down and let everybody walk on you? Are you pushing everybody away and doing everything for them? How are you showing others how to treat you? And this is where your boundaries come in. You are the one that is laying down that foundation and that road and saying, these are the signs, and this is what you can do and what you can't do. And this is what I will allow and what I won't allow, is what I should say, right? Because we can't control other people. But the only thing you can control is what you allow within your own energy, what you accept, what you hold on to, all of those things. So boundaries is super important. If you don't understand the difference between their energy and your energy, then you could be going through your day like this, or be afraid to go outside because all of a sudden you're like, I can feel it all closing in on me. And that's not a comfortable feeling.
Mm-mm. And if you guys have, because it's going to feel different in different areas. And I know one of you said that you're going through this right now, and that sometimes you can't be in public. I think that it's important for us to understand boundaries and understand the way we're giving of our energy too. Because me and my husband and my kids went out to dinner last night, and this is the second time we went to this particular location. We went to Texas Roadhouse. And the first time I went there, I felt weird, and I felt super invaded, and I felt there was so much going on within me, so much purging. And I was like, what am I doing? Am I taking on people's energy and then purging it through me? Like, I wasn't really understanding. And I had to go to the bathroom like 5 billion times. And I was like, I don't know what's happening to me. It's like it's this area that catalyzes me, or I'm taking in for people and processing for them and purging for them. Because both times we sat in the bar, and I don't know what those people around the bar was experiencing, but I must have been pulling in for them. And then this time, yesterday when I went, I was like, okay, it's not going to be like last time. I'm going to create a semi-permeable bubble around me. And it's interesting because you can set that intention, but if you have not created the pattern and the routine, that bubble comes down. Because subconsciously you're like, I feel that lady and she's suffering, and my MO is to just take, right? You're wanting to save people.
And that bubble should not be something that is placed around you. That bubble should be something that comes from within you. And so that's why creating that routine and structure of how you are creating your boundaries is super important.
Mm-hmm.
But you're leading us right into the perfect scenario, which is codependency.
Yes, the patterns that develop for us, right? And so we talked about boundaries and why they're important. You don't want to be processing for everybody. You don't. And if you do, then you're gonna, I don't know what your life is gonna be like, or you have to redefine what your beliefs are around that, because you're here to have your own unique experience. You're here to have your own stuff that you're dealing with. I can't imagine carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. And I know that that's my MO, because it's a familial ancestral line that I'm clearing in this moment. And part of my soul language is weight carrier. And I was not understanding that didn't necessarily mean I had to physically carry it or energetically carry it. It just meant I'm here to help people through their storm. But that doesn't mean that I have to carry their weight and their troubles and their turbulence. I can help them through it. And so we're gonna go into codependency and what that means, and if it is anything we need to experience, or what is a healthy relationship and what is an unhealthy relationship. Did you want to dive into codependency?
Yes, but before I did, we had some questions, so I just wanted some people to clarify. I had somebody who asked, my husband is asking, how do we stop? How do we stop with what? Can you get a little bit more clear on what you're asking? And then Crystal says, how can we control that in situations? Are you talking about when she was in the bar and she was feeling the energy? I just want you to clarify those questions for me real quick. And as we go into the codependency. So a lot of times what happens is if our boundaries are not in place, and I will actually touch on what happens if you realize after the fact that you've taken on another's energy, which is probably what you guys are asking about anyway. But if your boundaries are not in place and you're just allowing yourself to take on another's energy, that's exactly what codependency is. Codependency has multifacets. So the first one is bringing in and carrying other people's energy. So you are saying that you are responsible for another person's emotions and clearing it. You are responsible for how they feel. And when we do that, when we take on another's emotions and we choose to attach to it, we say, this is mine. We say, okay, now I'm going to suffer because I've made it mine. And now I'm going to go through all the work of processing their emotion. And when you do that, not only is it not serving you because now you're exhausted, you're cranky, you're clearing someone else's crap, you're probably having a stomachache, a headache, a backache, all of those things. That person, they've just been relieved, right? So think of it as two people. You're standing next to your significant other. They're full of dirty water. Your boundaries are wide open. And you're like, they do something and you're just going to pull all their energy in. So they drained, they emptied out completely. Now they feel fantastic. And you're over here like, oh, I don't feel good. And now because you're like, oh, this is mine. What's wrong? I need to go seeking what's wrong. What happened? What's happening here? You've attached it. Now you're really going down the drain. And now your mucky waters are starting to turn into sludge. And now that sludge is like, your light body's like, I can't move through this. This is like trying to go upstream. And when you're up a rushing river, you're trying to go upstream. It's not going to work. It's going to drain you instantly. And so we don't want to do that. But guess what? Sometimes it happens. We are human. So in those moments, when it happens, there are a lot of things that you can do to clear yourself out. I'm not going to go into all of those. We have a whole course that we've designed for this to go into it, because let me tell you something right now. It's not the same for everybody. It's just not. That's why these books that you see out there that says, this is how you deal with boundaries, or this is how you deal with your morning, this is how you set up your morning routine, or this is how you create your self-care practice. It's not going to work. Or even limiting beliefs, and this is how you deal with your emotions. This is not cookie cutter, folks. It is different for each of us. And when we understand how we operate, how our design is laid out, then we understand what we individually need to do to clean our energy in that moment. So when it happens, what do you do? So I'm going to give you an example, because I can only use what has worked for me. Around Christmas time, my husband and I went out and got a real Christmas tree. Not something I usually do. I usually have a fake tree. But we decided to do that. We were in the spirit. We're having a great old time. And something happened with my truck, and it wasn't working properly. And my husband is very quick with his words, and it cuts to the bone, right? So if I'm not aware of my energy and what he's feeling and what's building up within him, and that it's not mine, I can pull that in real quick. And my mood, I'll feel it rush up my body. It will be like a fire. It's like, And if I'm not in awareness, I will spout out the mouth and we will, boom, we're into an argument. Just like that. That's 3 seconds. So I could feel his frustration building in him. And he started getting really angry and frustrated. And I immediately knew, okay, this is going to go one of two ways. Either I'm going to take it on and I'm going to clear it for him and I'm going to be in a crappy mood because I have to ride that emotional wave that I now attached to me, or I can realize and observe that he's struggling right now, and that's serving him. This is an evolutionary process for him. So what did I do? I put my tongue into the roof of my mouth so I wouldn't speak. And in that moment, I just breathed. And I said, this is not mine. This is not mine. I do not want it. I do not want it. This is not mine. And I just allowed myself to come back into my neutrality. And then I calmly walked over to him and was able to then move through the situation from an observation point of view, not taking on his emotions, not taking it personally, not doing anything like that. But if it happens and you take it on, something for me to do, there's lots of things I do. I can say, this isn't mine, please leave. I can breathe it out. I can dance it out. There's lots of things you can do in the moment. You can excuse yourself. And it's all going to be different. Each person has their unique way of transmuting and clearing that energy. But at the end of the day, codependency is not just about a person. It is not about just taking on your kids' emotions, right? Or your husband's bad day or your wife's bad day. It can also be codependent on food, on alcohol, on shopping, on gambling, on sex, on anything outside of you. If you are reliant on a drink at the end of the day to relax you, then you are codependent on something. If you turn to food when you're uncomfortable with your emotions, then you are relying on food to be your crutch. Do you see what I'm saying? If you're doing anything outside of your own process, you're choosing to depend on something outside of you. And so that is a little bit more in depth than I actually wanted to go into, but I wanted to make it clear because this is a big issue right now that's happening. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. For me in particular, what codependence means for me is whenever we view ourselves as not whole or the other person as not whole. So you're meeting each other as two halves and you're thinking, okay, we need to complete each other. Or you are looking at yourself as weak or ineffective or inefficient. And you're like, what is going to fill this hole? And I know we're going to go into human design and gene keys in the course, but if you guys are into that and looking at that, there's ways to look at your chart to be like, okay, if I have this open center, what is it that I'm trying to fill it with? And how am I creating these codependent patterns with that? Because you're here to accept and embrace yourself as whole, no matter what holes you have in you. And it's not necessarily holes like, oh, I have an open splenic or sacral or whatever it is. That doesn't mean that you are less than. It's not that we're all supposed to be colored in and filled in. But a lot of us feel that pull because we're here to pull in other people. We're here on earth to have relationships. I'm whole, you're whole, we're having a relationship with each other. It's not that I'm half and I need somebody to complete me. We're not here to complete anyone. And so a lot of people are using, when they're feeling not whole, when they're feeling worthless, when they have low self-esteem, they're looking for ways to fill themselves. And like Johanna said, that could be with alcohol, that could be with food, that could be with shopping, that could be with seeking validation or attaching to a label like I am a mother, and in order for me to feel worthy, I am going to need to get to always feel like I'm nurturing my kids, to be like a helicopter mom, to give them everything they need, and then when they leave the nest, oh no, that label that I once defined myself with, I need to go find a new way to nurture. And it's not really nurturing, right? Because it's self-serving. And it's not that unconditional. It's like, I'm doing this for you so you can give something to me, right? For me personally, with my husband, he uses alcohol to numb. He has a codependency with alcohol, and I have a codependency with him for the longest time because I didn't like that, and I saw that as a codependency, and I'm like, why do you need this? And he was using that physical thing to make him feel whole, and I was like, I need to come in and save him. So my codependency was enabling him to keep doing that because he wouldn't change. So I was going to take all the crap he was putting in his body and I was going to process the inflammation and all that crap for him. So sleeping next to him, I was taking all of his stuff. I didn't know I was doing this for the longest time until I was trying to like heal my skin, because a lot of my skin shows where there's things underneath the surface, where I'm trying to process things. And I was like, oh my God, I'm taking stuff from him. I'm taking his inflammation. And I didn't realize it was codependency. I was like trying to save him because I was viewing him as weak, right? And that was just dimming my light too, because I was like, you're weak. But it's a crazy process, right? So we're here to accept and embrace ourselves and others where they're at. So
yeah, and that's a good point to come into with, you know, just the emotions and the beliefs and carrying the energy of somebody else and how it affects your health. You know, we talk about self-care, we'll talk a little bit about that, but you have to understand, you know, Dr. Emoto had this beautiful video in, there's a movie out there called What the Bleep. And if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. And it has this section where it talks about these waters. And what he did is he took this water from this canal that was very dirty and he blessed the water. But before he did that, he looked at it under a dark microscope and he could see the distortion in the water molecule. And then he blessed the water and he looked at it again underneath the dark microscope. And he was able to see it return to its natural form and to its purity, right? And then he took the time to take some water and he put these beautiful words of affirmation. I'm going to say this real quick because most people, you guys need to hear this. It isn't about just writing the words and sticking them on a water bottle and drinking it. It isn't about just saying the words and reaffirming them on a daily basis. It is the energy behind the words. If you say, I love you to yourself and you don't mean it, your energy speaks louder than your words, okay? And that is what will dictate. So again, but he took the energy of I love you and thank you, and he put them on these water bottles for 24 hours. And the way that the molecule transformed into this crystalline energy was amazing. Like the molecule changed form and came into this perfect symmetric thing. It was the most amazing thing to watch. But if you understand that our bodies are made of water, some of our organs are mainly water, like our brain is like something crazy, like 80% water, something like that. But we have so much water in our body. So think about this, whatever you're putting into your body, food-wise, if it's processed, if it's not serving your body, the words you speak, the thoughts you think, and the actions you take, they all have an energetic blueprint. So what are you putting in your water, right? We have to be aware of that first. You can't change something that you're not even aware of. And so we want you to become aware of the thoughts that you're thinking, the energy behind the things that you're doing and the words that you're saying. Wearing a mask and pretending everything's okay and treating someone nicely that you don't like. If you have ill feelings for them, that energy is still going. You're still creating that energetic connection, that cord to them. And that's the energy of which you are giving. So we always need to be in tune with where am I at naturally? Because if I need to talk to my husband or my wife about something and I'm still in the energy of anger and resentment, well, no matter what I try to say to them, when I create that time to connect with them, I am creating a cord. And whatever energy lies beneath is the energy of which I am giving. Is that what you want to give that person? Because that's what they're going to be picking up on. So it's important for us to come into that reset, to understand that we don't have any attachment to anything, come into neutrality before we go in and speak. And when you take on somebody else's stuff and you make it about yourself, and then you go down that spiral of negativity and you allow those negative thoughts and everything to keep going, well, guess what? Now you start to have itchy skin, you start breaking out, you start having lower back pain, stomach aches, headaches, anxiety, you can't breathe, right? You're taking on all this energy and you're bringing it into you, and then you're attaching it. And that low vibrational energy that transforms into disease, it needs something to breed it. It needs that negative low vibration. So the longer you stay in these energies, and I'm talking about months and months and months, right? This is how these things develop. For me, it almost happens instantly. I can literally attach to something that's not mine, and watch a rash appear on my throat, on my skin, develop a headache instantly. So again, not cookie cutter. Everybody's going to be different. But what chronic issues do you have in your body that you're not dealing with on an energetic level, right? Are you medicating it? Are you not serving it by staying in that low vibration? All of this can be healed by purifying your energy and reprogramming your mind. Your limiting beliefs. Your mind is a computer. It's primitive. It doesn't understand the difference between I can't pay my mortgage next week and a tiger's going to eat me. So guess what? You can program it yourself, or you can keep hooking out to other people and allowing them to programming it, including the collective. So we have to understand all these moving parts and pieces about ourselves so that we can begin to rebuild that foundation. And self-care, that's an important part of it, because that's where we come in. And after that, that's when we manage our frequency. We manage our energy, and we know how to clean it in an instant, like Crystal was asking. When you take that on in the bar. So what did you do, Ashley, when you were in the bar that night after your bubble, you noticed your bubble wasn't working?
Yes, last night when I noticed that my bubble wasn't working, I was just with it. I just accepted that I took something on, because the moment you take it on and you think I was eating while I was doing it. So it's almost like I was saying, yes, come in, and I'm letting you in. So it was already in me, and I had already started to have physical symptoms because of it. So I knew that I was in it, and I had to just find that grace through my suffering, because I knew that I wasn't going to just get it to go away, right? So I had to just release it and just accept that I was in it. And sometimes when you're deep down the rabbit hole, that's just what you have to do. You just have to accept it. You can't push it away or resist it or be like, crap, I put myself here. So that's all I had to do. And then when we left and I got in the car, everything went away. And I was like, oh man, that place. I'm going to keep going there, and I'm going to figure this out. It's not comfortable at all. Like, my husband was like, this place is so great. It has such great energy and everyone's so happy. And I'm like, I don't know what it's doing to me, because I hate it here. But I'm going to keep going there, because I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to put myself in that energy. And I think that sometimes we have to do that. It's our greatest test. And to piggyback on what Johanna was saying, because she got into emotions and thoughts, and I feel like the main thing is we got to neutralize. And so I can't, feeling other people's emotions, if I react to it, I'm just partnering with it. I just created that link to it. If you're reacting or you're being like, get away or whatever, you start to then create this biofeedback loop with it. When you can observe it and attain neutrality around it, it doesn't have a hold on you. So that's what we're trying to do with our emotions and our thoughts, is to, with every emotion, neutralizing. There's no hierarchy of emotions. And so we're needing to, even anger, even guilt, even shame, all of those emotions, we have to neutralize our reaction to it. Because the more we react to it, the longer we stay in that low vibration and we hold on to it, right? So if we release our attachment to it, it doesn't take hold of us as long, and we get to rise up to the higher vibrational emotions. Now, does that mean that those high vibrational emotions are good and these ones are bad? No, because here we're creating that separation and creating like, here's the good stuff, here's the bad stuff. But if you're wanting to come into union and you're wanting to eliminate separation, you got to just look at everything as neutral. Not even good, just neutral. I'm observing, I'm here experimenting, I'm here living my life. And so I can't look at that Texas Roadhouse place and be like, it's bad. I hate that place. It has bad energy. It's my reaction to it. There's nothing wrong. It's neutral. I am reacting to it. So we have to take radical responsibility for our reaction. And the moment we blame it on something else, we just gave our power away. So that's what we're wanting you to observe and contemplate, is where do you give your power away? Where do you react to? Where are your triggers? Because we're here to be neutral, and to be neutral is to be triggerless and be able to be in any situation and achieve that neutrality. And I think that the most important part here is when you are able to reset to your original design and reset to your 0 point, if an energy comes in that is about to change, your peace and center point and this homeostasis for you, you know that it came from over here, right? And it's someone else's. Sometimes we do have emotions and stuff that pop up, but it's because it started with a thought, and then the thought triggered an emotion, and then the more we were rejecting or not dealing with that, the more it starts showing up in our physical body for us to deal with. So we could stop that pattern by just giving attention to the emotions when they're showing up for us, and processing them and accepting them, embracing them, and letting them go. Everything has its own divine timing and its own expiration date, right? But some of us want to hold on to our past, hold on to our emotions, hold on to our thoughts, and then it just creates the same reality for us, right?
Yeah, and that's the energy that we're in. If you guys haven't felt it, is that's the energy of the karmic memories coming up and the patterns showing up. And if anybody hasn't seen the video I did on cords and negative entities and all of that thing, I mean, the insight that I was given on that was amazing, and it really opened up some things for me, because think about it, we hold on to the past, people, places, things, because they are familiar to us, because we've already been there, we know how they work. Even if they're not serving us, we still hold on to it for stability. But that's ridiculous, because what we're holding on to, we are actually anchoring into something that isn't serving and allowing that energy to continuously fuel us. And that's why we stay stuck in these patterns, and it keeps looping and looping and looping. But here's the thing, sometimes the fear of the unknown comes in, and we're like, well, if I let go, I don't know what's going to happen. Well, guess what? In that moment, you have an opportunity to reprogram your mind and reprogram your thought. The dark is where we go to plant seeds of hope. So in those moments, you have an opportunity to see that every thought you think turns into an emotion, and each emotion then turns into an action, right? And that action is up to you. So you have the thought, and it can be fleeting, right? The doors can be open. You are in neutrality. It can go in and out. You're like, yeah, whatever, that's a thought. But when you attach an emotion to that, that means you are personally attaching to that thought, that is a belief system then. A belief system is only a thought that you give meaning to. And to come into unity, to come into the all-knowing source within you, is to operate outside of those belief systems completely. And let me tell you, that's not an easy thing to do always. And it's going to happen differently for everybody. And this is why I want to keep stressing this, that what we have created is a foundational course for you to build your particular foundation, your toolbox, your blueprint. Everything is going to be laid out for you to build yours, because this is not meant for everybody. It's meant for you guys. There's no one way, even for me. So how I would have handled that situation with Ashley is different than the way that she did, but it's all perfect, because we can see that her husband, or that someone being angry and someone being happy and someone being, just over there in depression land, all those things are perfect just as they are. They are all serving the purpose in their evolution. It's serving the purpose of my evolution, yours, and the other person's, because we are all part of one whole organism. And so we need to see that it's not our job to fix them. It's not our job to take it on. It's not our job to worry about shit that's not ours. None of it. We have an opportunity at every moment when we are feeling that fear of the unknown to reprogram it. What if that unknown is magic? What if you let go and go into that magic, the most amazing things always happen? But instead, you guys go into the fear of unknown. You start going down the rabbit hole of all the things that could go wrong. We automatically jump into the negativity. And every time you focus on the negativity, on the worry, on the fear, guess what? That is what you are calling in. That is what you are creating. That is what the energy that you are saying you want more of. And so at every moment, you have the ability to change that. You have the ability to take control. You are the commander of your ship. You get to choose who boards and who doesn't, where it goes and where it stays, how fast it goes or how slow it goes. how clean it looks, how efficient it operates. This is the whole point of the body. We are not our body and we are not our mind, but they are here for a reason. And it's to integrate them, to come into alignment with them, to program our brain to be that supercomputer that we need it to be, to serve our heart. And our physical vessel is how we operate in a three-dimensional, dense environment. So we need to take care of it. It's like your car. You're going to drive it around and collect everybody else's trash and let it overflow. Are you going to fill your car with the gasoline that's not real, that's fake, like putting sugar in your gas tank? But yet we treat our bodies like they're nothing, because we treat our cars better than we treat our bodies. So we need to think about how our body operates on all the levels, because everything is energy. This crystal is energy, my glasses are energy, our bodies are energy. It's not just the things that we can't see.
Mm-hmm. And you're not serving your body, you're not serving your mind, we're serving our hearts. And it's important for us to follow that. And if our body is our vehicle, we're not saying, okay, car, drive me here. We get so, it's so much easier to become the victim or to give somebody else the responsibility, to put the power outside of ourselves, because then we don't have to take responsibility. When you take responsibility, you're taking radical responsibility for yourself, and you're deciding, I'm the creator. I'm creating my life. And so when it's led by your heart and not by your mind, you use your mind as a tool to serve your heart. You use your body as a tool to be in this physical plane, right? And so that's why we need to know what our reset point is, know what it feels like to be in our own energy. And then we get to decide, like Johanna said, who boards our ship, who's doing this with us. And we're not giving our power away to somebody else. We're always the captain. We're not saying, okay, now you're the captain. I can't deal with this. The emotions just got too big for me. Now I'm a victim of my emotions. Now my emotions are going to drive the ship. No, that's what we're trying to break the pattern of, is where we're giving our power away from, and where we are dethroning our heart from the kingdom.
Yeah. So. Before we're going to get ready to, we're going to share with you guys just a second, just a couple of minutes, if you will give us that time. To show you what we're going to be diving into in the actual full course, Reset and Reclaim, and then we are going to be diving into the transmission. But I did want to bring this in because I love that she brought back in the responsibility. Very early on in my awakening, I studied with Jack Canfield, and a lot of people know him from the success principles and things like that. But one thing that he said that stuck with me forever, and it's been on my fridge for like 3 or 4 years, it says E plus R equals O. And it's every event or situation that happens, we don't have any control over that, right? So there's an event or an experience that happens. That plus your reaction or your response is what changes that outcome. So we asked, how can we control that environment, or what's happening? Bad things happen, hurricanes happen, earthquakes happen, people die, we get in accidents, some people lose their homes, right? All those things have happened to me. I can't control the events that are taking place, that are unfolding. And the more I try, the more that I suffer, the more exhausted I get. It's not meant for me to control. I'm asking for, it's like asking for consent, and they're saying no, and you keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and you're going to get exhausted, right? So your reaction or response to whatever is happening is how you're going to change that outcome. So like when the hurricane happened for me here, I had to go through this process of seeing that it was serving a purpose, and I had to let go of the unknown. And through that letting go of that attachment and saying, I have no control here. All I can do is see this in the best possible way and know that I'm going to be okay, that I have control of my emotions, of my peace, and that's within me. And that's what changed that outcome for me. Instead of it being 6 days away from my family or away from my home and not knowing, we had a 6-day road trip. We had a great time over those 6 days. We have some of the best memories. And that stemmed from a tragedy, a natural disaster. So E plus R equals O. You have to take responsibility for your emotions. You made me mad. You made me lose this. You broke my heart. No. That's, your emotions live within you. They are not outside of you. Nobody else gives you or takes away emotions. You cannot destroy energy. You can only change its form. So you want to bring that up and share the screen, my love?
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm also sharing, I'm going to pop it in the chat too, so that if you guys are wanting to look at it on your screen or afterwards, you can have access to that. But before we get into the meditation, the purification, and the resetting, we wanted to show you the actual full course that we developed, and it's 8 modules. And this is the landing page for this. So there's just, we're not going to read the copy. You guys can read it yourselves, but I just wanted to give you guys a look at the different modules. So we're going to talk about resetting your energy, how to reset your energy. There's a purification meditation that you can do as you're working through the modules. There's PDFs, workbooks. There's a lot of support materials. We're going to be talking about boundaries, codependency, a lot of the things we touched on here, because we wanted to go way more in depth and give you guidance for how to work through these, right? Because
for
you're
your blueprint, though, for their energy type.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're giving you a lot of examples, a lot of things. You get to choose, you get to play around. There's a lot of self-inquiry, self-discovery. We're going to guide you to your way through questioning, right? So we're not here to just give you, here, use this. This is what's going to work for you. Everybody's not the same. Like Johanna said, this isn't cookie cutter. There's work for you to do as well, because you need to take initiative, right? So we're giving you all the tools. We're giving you all the understanding and knowledge, and you get to take that and decide how you're going to implement it. So resetting your energy, boundaries, codependency, self-care routines, emotions, thoughts, and beliefs. And then at the end, there's the last module, module 8, is all about like getting your toolbox together. Like what are you going to
put this whole process together for you? Because this is what you're doing through that 8 weeks. You're learning all the tools and how to find them within you, within your charts, within your energy, to how to create your toolbox, so that in those moments, like you guys have been asking, in those moments of when the shit hits the fan, or when you find yourself there, or when you feel it coming on, what is it that you particularly do to get through it? And how do you set up your day so that you are more in flow and success? So this is designed so that you are able to go through the process of developing your way of breaking the cycle, breaking that pattern, and setting yourself up for success. Because here's what we're doing in module 1, right? And you guys are going to get a little bit of taste of that with this transmission, is we've torn down the house, and we're breaking up that concrete, and we're burning down all of the soil, and we're creating a brand new neutral platform. And through this course, we're going to be bringing in all the ingredients, and the magic is the glue. It's the glue within you that brings this together, that makes it concrete. And now you have your foundation. And now when you go out and take that business course, when you go out and when you put your course up for sale, when you do whatever it is for your family, you're doing it from the stable space within you, standing on solid ground. You're not doing it from scarcity. You're not doing it from, I'm not sure, I'm going to try. You are rooted and grounded and connected into your foundation, into your body, and you feel good about yourself. And that's priceless, man.
Mm-hmm. You're living by your design, and you know your yeses and your nos, and you know how to guide and direct yourself, because that's the most important thing is to not need to look outside of yourself for that guidance or those answers. You know exactly how to go within you, and you know what's in alignment for you and what's not. We're creating that competency, emotional competency, self-competency. We're getting into self-discovery so that you can master yourself. So this foundational course is about self-discovery to lead you towards self-mastery. So in the modules, obviously, we have like 60 to 90 minute master classes per module. So this is about to be about 90 minutes when we're done with the transmission, when we're done with the meditation. each of the modules is about 60 to 90 minutes. So you'll have a lot of in-depth conversation going into each of these different things instead of the 10-ish minutes that we spent on each of them, or even less, 5 minutes. Then they have a workbook for each module. So you'll have 10 pages or so per module where you're going to be diving in for that week. So they're going to be dropped each week for you. So you'll be able to take your time with this, because it's not about racing through it. It's about integrating it. It's about embodying it. It's about figuring out what's right for you. And then obviously there's that meditation. This is the purification meditation that comes with it. And each module, every day, whatever, you are able to start your day with that. So we're creating this routine. We're creating this understanding of what that 0 point is, because the whole purpose is to reset your energy and reclaim your power as creator, as the magical creator of your life. And so we have 2 different payment plans for this. We wanted to make it accessible for everyone. We also didn't want to make it too outrageous. It's a lot of in-depth work, and this is definitely what everybody needs, and definitely what we needed and what we went through.
This is not about the money for us. I mean, this course is priceless. We couldn't even give you what the worth was, because this is the thing. When we connect with you guys, when we have these one-on-one calls with people, we don't want to spend that whole hour or 90 minutes with you building your foundation. We want you to have your foundation and then come to us and say, now let's blow this bitch up. Let's just make it rain. And the only way to do that is to be on stable ground. And so we said, you know what? Everybody needs to make sure that they can have access to this. And this is why we've made it so accessible. And I have to say this because it's popping into my head right now. If you are an Inner Circle member, please wait to purchase this. We will have a coupon code for you, because as an Inner Circle member, you get 25% off meaning Ashley and I's digital courses.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So definitely wait for that coupon code to drop. So it's 1 full price payment of $222 or 3 monthly payments of $88. So we wanted to make sure it could be accessible for you guys. And we're really excited about it. And it's something that we've been working on for a while now. And finally, it's here. It's ready.
It's so exciting. Yay.
Okay, yeah. So here's testimonials. You can go through this. It's just
Trinity, you'll know because it's $88 a month. So if you're a part of the Inner Circle, you pay $88 a month, and you already got a glimpse into this because we preview courses in there. And so they already got a preview of this course, and they're in it too.
Yes.
That member gives them a discount. So you would know.
Yeah. You would. It started out as Magical Manifesting, but now it's Magical Monthly Inner Circle. And for each of these things that we drop, we're going to have tasters where you're going to get 5 days. So the people that are in that got 5 days of this already, and they went into it. Me and Johanna, we went even deeper. We were like, okay, we're going to re-record all of these, and it was just we went in deep. So there's a lot in here.
Yeah, we realized how much more we needed to pour into this course for everybody.
Yes. So that's that. And if you have any questions, you can write them in the comments, or you can put them in Magical Soul. I want to create a thread in Magical Soul because I know a lot of you had questions, some about attachment, some about how to shift it. If you could put those in the thread that we're going to start, we can start replying to you guys, because we don't have a lot of time to do Q&A on this call, because we wanted to get to all the juiciness and the transmission meditation. So if you still have questions, you can use the Magical Soul group space to get those answered.
All right, you guys, if you want to make sure you have your water with you, I've locked the meeting. So that means no new participants can enter. We don't want anyone to be disturbed. There is no music background on this one. You will have an option to just purchase this to watch the whole replay, like to own it forever. You'll have that ability to do that. And so if you want to wait and do this later, if you're driving, please don't do this right now. So you can always come back. The replay will be up in the group until Sunday night, and you can revisit this section. But the edited version will have music laid down behind it. Okay, so get yourself in a comfortable position. You can be laying down, you can be sitting up. I've lit in our candle, and I have this beautiful zeolite here. This is a purification stone. It really helps to purify our blood. I've set the intention for this stone for anybody who's going to be listening to this transmission, to really assist our energies in purifying our blood and our water all the way through our bodies. All right. So I want you guys to begin. We're just going to place our hands upon our water. We're just going to take a couple of deep breaths. I want you to feel with your breath, I want you to feel this beautiful light within your heart space, just really beginning to see that spark, to see that glow, and beginning to build and build and build and build. And I want you to feel that love, that pure divine energy that's within your heart center, beginning to flow down your arms, into your hands, activating your palms. Just feel that energy, know that that energy is coming through. As we place the intention upon the waters in your hand to be a power source, to really assist us in transmuting any energies that are within our blood, within our water, within our tissues, within our bones, within our body. Transmuting it, helping it to pass naturally, quickly, and comfortably through our system. And just as wind or fire, water is a natural power source. So we activate these divine waters within our hands to assist us in transmuting what is no longer serving. And now just take a drink of that water, and then I want you to be able to finish whatever water you brought when you're done with this. As we tune into our heart centers, we feel that well that lies within us, that well of all-knowing, that pure divine essence, that pure divine water that lives within our heart space. This well cannot be contaminated. This well is your divine blueprint. It is your divinity. It is something that you have access to always. And as you tune into that space, maybe you see it as a pool that you are laying in, a pond that you're sitting next to. Doesn't matter what you see or what you feel, just know that this place is within you. We ask for each of us to be surrounded by our guides, our angels, our ascended masters, our galactic families. I ask that each and every one of us feel their presence intently, feel the energy that they are providing as a way of holding space through this process. I ask Mother, Father, God, and the Palladian emissaries of light to be our gatekeepers of light, of divine light, allowing us to create this sacred container. As Ashley and I connect our energies, creating this beautiful portal, we invite you in. We invite you in because we rise, we purify, we unify together. We are opening up our energy, our space, to hold space for you and guiding your energy. We have some beautiful beings that have stepped forward to help us today. We have Kali Ma and Kuan Yin. We have Saint Germain, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael. We have my personal guide, my Palladian guide, Ashana Kia. We have Archangel Metatron, Archangel Sandalphon, and Archangel Gabriel. It's beautiful. I ask that the energies begin to be elevated, elevating each and every one of our consciousness into a higher state of being, transcending our minds momentarily, asking that our ego take a back seat, that we allow our hearts to take the lead. Just feeling that energy intensifying, elevating, 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 allowing ourselves to come into that divine space. As we tap into that well of all-knowing within us, we allow ourselves to follow it as we allow ourselves to flow down our river. As this river flows, we're going to begin to feel it begin to widen and really encompass us becoming our pillar. Flowing from our hearts down into our solar plexus, where we clear automatically anything that is ready and right there to be set free, to be changed back to its divine purity. Allowing our emotions, whatever they may be in this moment, to be brought back into that space of pure neutrality. As we follow those divine waters and allowing it to flow wider and wider within our body, down from our solar plexus into our sacral. This is where we call back all the parts and pieces of ourselves from all time and space and no time, allowing us all to be present in this moment in time. As we allow those pure divine waters that run deep within us to create a vortex, a water spout around all of us, all the parts and pieces of us, allowing it to gently begin to pull comfortably and quickly any patterns, any karmic memory, anything that is no longer serving us. Even the things that we have taken on that are not ours to carry. Especially the collective energy. Just feeling that gently being pulled from all parts and pieces of you as you guys unify into one whole being in this present time and space. As those waters continue to run down in and accelerating outside of our body, really widening our pillar, we allow it to flow into our root, creating that fluid motion once again, bringing life back to any stagnation, allowing us to see as those are pure divine waters, purify the water that's been sitting, and allowing us to see clearly that foundation that is deep within us, seeing that platform that is available to anchor into. As that divine waters begin to flow down our thighs and through our knees, through our shins, into our feet, where we activate every chakra in our feet. as we can imagine the feeling of connecting with Mother Earth, feeling the two energies connecting at your feet. As your beautiful light begins to shine thousands of streams and wrap gently around Mother Earth as if you are cradling her in your hands. Allowing that energy to meet and to move through her surface, through all of her crystalline layers of purification. And her heart is wide open and ready to receive, to connect instantly. As you begin to feel that connection, your heart's beginning to beat in sync, feeling your breath slowing and regulating, and feeling that beautiful, calm connection. As she reciprocates this energy and you feel it flowing up your pillar of light and overflowing from your well of all-knowing. As that energy flows and rises up through our heart and through our high heart and into our throat, we allow the divine waters within our being to begin to break down and return every word that we have spoken, every action that we have taken into its pure form, lifting the veil of the words that we should have spoken or the actions that we should have taken, allowing us to come into that pure neutrality, allowing that energy to flow into our ears and connecting at our third eye, where once again we lift the veil that we ourselves have placed upon us, bringing that clarity to what it is that we need to see and hear from our soul, not outside of us. As we allow that third eye veil to lift, we unlock a new flow, a new stream of divine energy. And that stream flows fluidly from our third to the fourth eye in the back of our head into our hypothalamus, where we soften and allow ourselves to come into that divine relaxation. We allow the third and fourth eye to stream simultaneously up into the fifth eye, once again lifting any veil, any obscurity that we have placed upon ourselves, and allowing that energy to overflow and cascade down, creating the Holy Trinity within our being, allowing us to see with the all-seeing eye everything that our soul is wanting to see, all the guidance, all of the truth that lies within us. As those divine waters rise up into our crown, we gently feel that warm, loving energy purifying our neural pathways, clearing anything that we are holding on to that is not for us or serving us or our evolution. Really allowing that energy to just clean out our receiving dish and clearing every single strand of hair that we have on our head, purifying all of those antennas as we feel that energy activate and rise, creating a vortex of energy above us, circulating as we give the love and gratitude of everything we have within us to all that is, to infinite consciousness. Allowing that beautiful flow to enter down for us to receive deep within our well of all-knowing all that is meant for us, all that is aligned with our soul's truth. Just breathing that in for a moment and feeling yourself going into that deep space of gratitude, of how magical we all are, each and every one of us, and our connection to all that is. I want you to take this moment to bring to the surface anything that you may be struggling with in this moment, any patterns, any beliefs that are coming up. I want you to bring them into your awareness. And I want you to open the door that is now in front of you and step in to our sacred space. to the white room with the white walls and the white floors. And I want you to know that this is the space where you come to transform. This is the place where we begin the purification process at a deeper level. And as you bring those thoughts, those emotions, those people, those places, those things, those memories that have once brought you pain, that you may be struggling with or holding on to and not sure how to let go of, to the surface, we ask you to stand in the center on this beautiful crystalline star that we have placed. The star is filled with malachite and azurite and selenite. We have magnite. Sodalite. They're just bringing me all the crystals that this beautiful star is placed in the center of this room. Kyanite, black and blue. We have some aquamarine, some abertine, and some criscola. Beautiful. And as you stand there, I want you to begin to feel your energetic system. I want you to begin to feel the energy around you. We're going to be working with all 12 bodies here, all 12 energetic bodies that surround you. And you don't need to know what those are. I just want you to begin to feel. And I'm going to ask that the energies be ramped up even higher still, so that you can feel the energetics that surround you, your own bodies. And I want you to feel in to how cluttered it is or how clear it is. I want you to feel in your personal physical body where these emotions, where these beliefs, where these things that you are struggling with right now in this moment live. Maybe you feel it in constriction in your heart. Maybe you feel it in your stomach or your back. Maybe your hands are activating. Maybe you're having trouble catching your breath. Just feel it, no judgment, just observing and feeling into your energy around you and how it feels. We're just going to ramp this up just a little bit more. And stepping forward right now is Kali Ma. And what Kali Ma is going to begin to do, Kali Ma is going to begin to wrap you. Not just you, but your 12 energetic bodies that surround you. We've pulled them in tight enough around you. It's about 3 feet all the way around you, below and above you. And we're going to wrap that whole field of energy and you in this beautiful rainbow ray. Just as if we are being mummified, we are going to wrap you completely, 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 all the way to the top. And then we're going to overlap and overlight again with the rainbow ray, sealing you in tight. This is creating a sacred container for this purification to come through. And as that continues, we are going to begin building your truth serum. This truth serum is located within your well of all-knowing. And I want you to begin to ask yourself, what is your truth? What is your truth? And if you struggle with this, ask Archangel Michael to come in and bring you your divine truth. Is your truth that you are an infinite being? Is your truth that you are abundant, that you are love? Is your truth that you have power within you? Just ask yourself what that is. And we ask that this truth serum include the original 12-point blueprint, bringing all of the energies within their being on all levels, from all time and space and no space, back to its pure, divine, neutral state. So just take that moment to continue to fill your truth serum and stating, affirming that truth within you, because you guys all are. We all are love. We all are truth. We all have power. We are all magic. We all deserve to be seen and heard. There is nothing to lack. Everything we need is within us. Everything. Everything in your life served a purpose. Even the things that brought us immense pain, even the things that we don't understand, if we can simply open the door of possibility and see that it served a purpose in our evolution and the evolution of the collective, we can enter into that space of neutrality, and we can let go of the pain that we are attaching, and we can free ourselves. It looks like the truth serums are ready, and so I want you to see yourself mummified completely in this beautiful rainbow ray. It's very thick. We're going to begin injecting this truth serum right now. And it's going to take just about, I could feel a big shift, about 30 seconds for that to infuse into the rainbow ray completely. Just feeling it. You may feel a sense of warm or even cold. It depends on your energy. Some people will feel immense cold energy beginning to take over. Some will feel a warmth. Perfect. And what we're going to do is we're going to allow this rainbow ray, so beautiful, to begin going inward. And it's going to begin moving through all 12 energetic bodies that surround you. And it may get a little thick around the causal body because that's where a lot of that karmic memory is stored. I'm just going to allow it to move through all 12 layers, purifying as it goes, returning your energy back to its divine, neutral essence. We're getting closer. We're moving into that causal body, just allowing that energy, and we'll feel it moving through, going through the mental body, the astral body. This is where we're getting into those emotions. We may start to feel some stuff coming up. We may start crying. We may start feeling stuff moving in our body, and that is all okay. That is the natural process. As that truth serum and that rainbow ray moves through that astral body, it begins to move into our physical body, entering into our skin, into our tissue. It's going to begin to move through our bones very gently, very comfortably. Again, you may feel a warmth or cold that comes over. Just know that that is your system purifying itself. As it begins to move through your bones, clearing all those programs, all those stories that you have told yourself, bringing you back to your divine 12-point blueprint that you entered this world with. It's beginning to move through our blood, through our waters, running through our lymphatic system. Beginning to go and permeate through the tissues and the structure of all of our organs, gently and comfortably, as each individual organ and structure has its own purification process, and that will begin with each and every organ: your lungs, your heart, your spleen, your liver, your kidneys, your digestive tracts. As it gently and comfortably moves through and purifies every cell, every molecule, every strand of DNA, every ounce of everything within your being. And as that continues, we're just going to allow that to continue. It looks like it's got a little bit of stuff to work through. Just going to allow that energy to take its time and comfortably and gently purify. Make sure that you are breathing and make sure that you are allowing yourself to receive this, to know that whatever you are seeing, feeling, knowing that is happening is okay. You each will have certain guides that will step forward for this. You will be taken new places. You will see new things. This works down deep into the crystals of your eyes, through the sense that you call forth in your nose, even getting into the teeth and the gums. It moves through every part and piece of you. And now it's beginning to come to its 0 point. As it begins to enter into your heart, I want you to feel, know, see this energy moving to its 0 point and entering back into itself as we fold back into ourselves and we enter back into that well of all knowing. And as you feel that come to its space where it takes a moment to breathe, your higher self, your, however she or he appears to you, steps forward.
And as she is moving towards you, I want you to just note what he or she looks like, feels like. And your higher self has a gift to give to you. And you'll begin to notice in the space of her heart the energy building, expanding, the sphere. It leaves her body and just hovers around her open hand. And you'll begin to see this sphere of energy start to take form. It begins to take the form of a key. This is your master key, and it unlocks pure potentiality. It unlocks everything you're meant to create and bring to the world. And in entering your reset point, you are aligned with this beautiful key and all of the possibilities that it holds. This is your master key, and so it unlocks everything for you. And you can use this key for anything. And your higher self is now offering you this key. You can now take it, you can place it in your heart space, and just let it absorb and dissolve into you, into your heart space. And as it sits in your heart, the energy radiates from that key and fills your whole heart, expanding out into all the rest of your chakras and energetic bodies, unlocking every part and piece of you. This unlocks your kingdom. You are reclaiming your kingdom and sitting back on the throne of your heart. And your throne will begin to appear. And as it does, you begin to sit in that throne and know that this is your center point. This is where you go to create from and where you unlock those infinite possibilities. You are the ruler of your own kingdom. The high priestess, the magician, the king, the queen. You are it all. And your higher self in front of you begins to move towards you with arms outstretched. You guys embrace, and your higher self begins to dissolve into you, because you are your higher self. You are one, you are whole, you are healed, you are perfection in form. You now reclaim your title as the creator of your world. And from the space of your 0 point, you manifest all your desires. You create. Sit in your heart space for a little while longer. Just breathe in this newfound power that comes from within you.
Feel that magic unlocking. That magic is your glue that allows your foundation, your new foundation, to take its form and stay strong. We would like to give you the gift of integrating and accelerating this purification and newfound magic. This magic was always within you, but now that you have unlocked it, unleashed it, we want to accelerate all of that potential. Kuan Yin and Archangel Michael and Saint Germain have now stepped forward. And off to the side, you will notice a beautiful transmutation and acceleration pool. It is a beautiful aquamarine color and it is so warm. Kuan Yin is going to help you get into this beautiful transmutation and integration pool, where it will begin to accelerate the integration process, accelerate the healing that will be taking place within your body, within your energy. Just feel yourself floating in this pool. And we're going to ask you to let go. Just feel yourself, as I start to say let go, sinking deeper and deeper and deeper. And as we reach the 10th let go, you will have allowed yourself to move through that integration and acceleration process and to float back up to the top. So take a breath in and let go, 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 let go. And feel the lightness take over and that flow just run its course. As Archangel Michael begins to etch outside of this beautiful pool a triangle pointing north, all the way around your integration and transmutation pool, as he overlaps it with another triangle being etched in, going south. Beautiful. And then he's going to create a circle around the double triangles, reminding you of your wholeness. As Saint Germain ignites these etchings with the violet flame, allowing for it to fully ignite and the flames to rise into a perfect triangle above you, reaching its point, allowing anything that still is lingering in your energetic field to be brought into that flame and transmuted back to its divine essence, back to its universal love. And as those flames begin to die down, Kuan Yin, Archangel Michael, and Saint Germain connect their energies and connecting their rays. And through the connection of these rays, we will have some beautiful activations that are going to be coming in. So we're just going to start that connection process. Archangel Michael begins with activating his electric blue ray of divine truth and seeing that begin to circulate between him and Saint Germain and Kuan Yin. And as it rotates around them, I want you to see it coming back to Kuan Yin and herself activating the most beautiful mixture of aquamarine and soft pink ray of compassion and of grace and of rebirth. As this ray begins to circulate, connecting to Archangel Michael and Saint Germain and returning back to Kuan Yin and flowing again back to Saint Germain, where he ignites his violet flame, that beautiful violet divine ray, encrusted with the most beautiful diamond energy as it begins to flow through and around. And as it does, we begin to feel these activations coming forth. The first is the activation of compassion. Just feeling that all this activation is doing is going to be pushing that button. It's going to be triggering the compassion within you. To feel it ignite in all of your cells, awakening your DNA, awakening that compassion in every aspect and every part of you. As the next activation is about to come through, this is the activation of grace. This is the ability for you to hold space for the emotions that you yourself go through, allowing you not to judge those emotions, not to try to escape, but to just love and have compassion for yourself in that moment. Here comes the activation of divine grace. Just feel it awakening within you, activating in every cell within your being, allowing you to be able to hold space for yourself and allow yourself to experience what it is that you need to. As the energies begin to ramp up once again, we feel that activation coming through of universal love. And that activating within every cell of your being, awakening your heart, feeling your heart beginning to expand, feeling that love, that pure feminine energy beginning to rush over you. Mother Earth is stepping forward and entering into that mix, allowing you to connect back to yourself, to slow down and to feel that energy, that feminine energy, just taking root within you. And we have a beautiful, the last activation that is coming through is of abundance. This is all something that we tend to seek outside of ourselves, but what this does is trigger the activation of the abundance that's within you so that you can feel that money, that love, that all of the desires that you feel actually are a part of that same source energy that is you. You are the creator. You are the commander. You now have the key. You are unlocking the magic. We have activated the abundance within you so that abundance can pour from within you into your outside world so that it can be created and manifested in front of you. You have cleared the space for you to call in everything that you desire from a place within you, not outside of you. As we enter back into that space of neutrality, and you begin to feel those rays diminishing. And as you exit this beautiful pool of transmutation and integration. I want you to once again feel your feet taking root, as if you have just placed the soles of your feet onto a bed of grass. Just feeling that connection, not only with Mother Earth, but with your physical body. I want you to feel your energy, your light body, your divine blueprint locking in to your physical vessel. We're going to take 3 deep breaths in through our belly and exhaling out our mouth, really allowing ourselves to come back into this time and space, this present moment. Let's begin taking a breath in and out. Just feeling that expansion of your magic happening. 2 more times. Deep breath in and out. Once again, feeling that expansion. Expanding, expanding, expanding. And once again, deep breath in and out. Beautiful. We'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your angels, your ascended masters, your galactic family. And we'd like to thank Mother, Father, God, and all of the beings that showed up today to hold space for us, to intensify this process, and to help guide our energy back into its neutrality. And when you are ready, you may open your eyes. And I thank you for allowing us to have this sacred connection between all things. I would love to know, just really quickly before we exit, if anybody wants to share what they were feeling. We did run over a little bit. And then make sure you drink your water. You're so welcome. Make sure that you drink your water that you blessed, and really allow that energy to move through you. You may feel really, really clean right now, which is cool. You want to drink lots of water, you want to rest, but know that there's no 3-day healing process here, that this is instantaneous work, and to just have some care for yourself, because this is a beautiful process. This will not be the exact activation transmission that will be in the course either. It's going to be different. What came through today was for everybody who's going to be listening to this particular one. So know that it will be a bit different. Ashley, make sure, remember you're muted. So do you want to add anything in? How did you experience it?
No, I'm feeling really zen. So
That's awesome. Great. Natasha says, I feel really weird. Sometimes we don't recognize what our own energy feels like. And sometimes that can feel foreign to us because we've had so much other stuff. So just take some time to drink some water and allow whatever was manifested in your form to process naturally out. And I do want to say, there's something that happens, I don't know about Ashley, but my computer's not hooked into its power source. When we do these transmissions, I had 75% battery when we started. My computer's about dead. Literally, it's about to hit the red zone.
That's crazy. Oh, thank you so much for the feedback. And if it's okay with everybody, I would love to use your testimonials for it. So if you're okay with it, you can just say yes. But I love your feedback, and thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you. Take those keys and start opening up some doors.
Yes, you are the ruler of your world. You're the commander of your ship. So it's time.
It is time. And we hope to see those who feel called in the Reset Reclaim experience, and those who feel called to build their foundation. It's ready. It's waiting for you. And we're just so excited for everybody that came. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.